between the words that are spoken and the words that are heard, may the Spirit of God be present. Amen.
Amen.
Some early childhood Christmases in my native Ohio were spent at my aunt's home in Youngstown, where my father was born. Now, his mother, Grandma Mary, was still on this side of heaven and holding forth from the kitchen, where bracciole and hot sausages simmered in her pot. What I remember most after the smells was the travel. An hour's drive in the snow and ice, my dad's hands rising from the steering wheel as he issued commentary on the evening. Me braced between my younger sisters, each in a car seat on either side of me. My mom, pregnant with our next sister, soothing us with the songs of Judy Collins from the passenger seat. All of us were draped in blankets, our breaths sometimes visible in the crisp air in an aging Volkswagen Rabbit. In Jesus' day, a decree went out that the whole world, the whole empire, should be registered. And Joseph, who was descended from the house of David, went to Bethlehem. Now, he was descended, but not like you and I are descended from our parents or from our grandparents. There were centuries between David and Joseph. Historians don't really know when David was born, but 9th or 10th century BCE is a reasonable guess. We learn a more symbolic sense of the distance between them as it's recorded in the Gospel according to Matthew. 14 generations from David to the Israelites' deportation to Babylon, and then another 14 from Babylon to Jesus. And that reference to Babylon is important because it speaks to the discontinuity in the story. The decree went out that the whole world should be registered. And I started to think, if I were subject to this registration, according to my father's line, where would I go? Now, would I go back to Youngstown, where Dad was born and maybe a few families still live? Or would I go to San Vito Romano, where his father was born, but no known family lives? And 27 generations, where would that take me? Where would that take you? I wonder what peoples, what lands we would cross. And when you arrived, would the citizens carry the same passport as you? Would the locals look to you as family? Integral to the Christmas story is the reality of migration. None of us is truly in our family's place of origin. And even for those rare San Francisco natives among us, I'm going to guess a couple hundred in here maybe. If we went 27 generations back, like the lineage of the Holy Family, yours too has been interrupted. And you'd have to leave for parts unknown to go register. Whether we've migrated across international borders, traveled in and out of faith traditions, navigated health challenges, or climbed some rocky internal terrain, each of us has to journey to this Christmas story. To migrate is human, but we don't always recognize this humanity. In a society that cared more about documents than dignity, the Holy Family was put outside to brave the elements. There was no room for them in that inn. So if you've been on the outside in some way, you are in most excellent company. But tonight, come inside. Tonight, there is room for everyone. Everyone here belongs. Like Jesus himself, you already have the most important designation and descent: child of God. This Christmas, let's give one another the gift of room. Room for that sibling that crowded you out in the family car. Room for the tween you can't keep up with, for the aging parent whose health is a little fragile. Room for the sadness at those who are no longer around our tables. This Christmas, let there be room. Room for new beginnings, for fellow travelers. Room for joy, for lights. Room for love. Room for us all. Merry Christmas.